Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the Weekly Source podcast. My name's Luke. I'll be your host for this week, and I am joined by the usual suspects. We have Yanni.
Hola.
We've got Hog Sauce.
Yo, yo.
Big Peter.
Shabalaba ding dong.
And last but not least, we've got Liam.
Hello, Boom Roasted.
Right. For this week's topic, we're going to be talking about the past, present, and future of gaming. Now, we're going to start off with the past. So, when I think back to my past, I think about the first console I ever had, which was the Sega Master System, Sonic the Hedgehog. So, first of all, I'm going to ask you first, Peter. What was your first console and first game that you remember playing?
My very first console was Atari 5200. Yeah, 5200. I can't fucking English today. But yeah, and the very first game I played on was Pitfall, Space Invaders, and Pac-Man. That was
Old
the very
school.
first games.
So they're like the backbones, really, of gaming. A lot of games have just been built upon from them old school games.
Yeah, I had that, and then I ended up getting a Nintendo, the normal Nintendo. And then,
Super, is it? Oh,
no, the normal Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Nintendo
The
Entertainment
outbreak one where
System.
the games look like big Game Boy games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had that, and then I ended up with an Amiga 600? 500?
No, you had a 500 and then you got a 1000.
Yeah, that
Remember
was it.
Because back in the day, lad, me and him, we used to sit there in the back room and ask for some reason, I don't know why, my ma had like, it was like a mini bar, but it was like the front of a boat. And we just had the telly on top of that and the Amiga set up. And we'd sit there for fucking hours on end playing Street Fighter and like fucking The Simpsons game. I don't even remember what it is, but I remember the game in my head. Like, perfectly. And Parasol Stars and shit like that.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Like certain games stay with you, don't they? In your
Yeah,
mind.
it's nostalgia. If I'm being honest, lad, I had to Google before what that game was called, that Parasol fucking Stars one, because I completely forgot about it, but I remember the game. Like, I was playing it yesterday. It's I've got some good fucking memories of that Atari, like, but not that Atari, that Amiga, but Peter never let me have a go over on my own. So
Because you were the favourite child. My dad, after last week, my dad only hugged me for the first time ever.
But in a way, aren't you glad that I'm building bridges between you and my dad?
No.
I'm breaking down barriers one podcast at a time.
Right, so I'll move on to Lewis. Lewis, I know you're a bit younger than us, so I'm guessing you probably missed out on the old Segas and Nintendos and stuff. So what was your first game and first console that you remember playing?
Yeah, lad. The first console that I played was the PlayStation 1. When free, so that was 1998. Now, the first game I remember playing Die Hard. Well, I remember watching my dad play Die Hard.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, that classed me as playing the game. But watching my dad play.
Was that like basically the game version of the first Die Hard film?
Well, you know what, lad? Like, I can't remember too clear. I can only remember like one scene because I was only like 3 or 4 years old at the time. But I think they were like at an airport terminal or something like that. Or it was something like a similar sort of aesthetic. And you just had one of them plug-in guns, plugged into the second controller. Or I think it was memory port, one or the other. But that was the first game I remember like watching and thinking, oh God, I don't mind this. But I'd probably say the first proper game I played was it was 007. I think it was Tomorrow Never Dies. I
played that one.
Lou,
you
tell me you never experienced the joys of GoldenEye.
No, lad, no.
I'll be honest, lads, as well. I never played GoldenEye. I never got into the Nintendo 64, lad.
Well, GoldenEye was responsible for getting a lot of people involved into first-person games. Do you know first-person shooters?
Mm.
When you think of like, I mean, you think of games like Doom and Duke Nukem and stuff like that. When you think of like old school, like first-person shooters and stuff. Hang on, is Duke Nukem a first person?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it's fair, isn't it? But you think of Doom. I think Doom's the one I'm thinking of. But you can't deny that GoldenEye was such a impactful game when it came to inspiring.
Yeah, and I know it was a massive game, but I just when I was a kid, I think the Dreamcast come out at the same time as the 64, and my ma picked the wrong horse lad and bought us a Dreamcast instead of an N64. And the only game we got for it was like fucking Sonic Unleashed or some shit, whatever it was called.
I was lucky enough to have a PlayStation, Dreamcast, and 64, so I experienced a lot of the exclusive games that were out for each one. But
all right, you posh cunt.
No. Hey, you're talking about someone who had a Sega Master System, fucking when people had PS1s.
Nah, I'm only messing that.
Nah, it was just I've always been a big gamer, so I've always wanted consoles and that. You know what I mean? Moving on to you, Liam. What was your first game you remember playing, mate?
Yeah, man. Well, the first game that I remember ever playing was Duck Hunt. Do you know one, the original Nintendo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was my big brother's. So obviously,
right,
as he got new consoles, I inherited his old ones that were now redundant.
Yeah.
But loved them nonetheless. Like, I don't think it was much good because I don't think any kids really was that good at 4 or 5 years old. Like, but yeah, just used to enjoy it. And then obviously, some of the main games I used to play then was like my main either then was like the Super Nintendo. Like Mario Land, Street Fighters.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, do you know them kind of games?
Killer Instinct. That was a good one as well. Yeah,
that's where I kind of come into gaming properly. Like I started with the Nintendo, but the Super Nintendo was like my first console that was bought for me.
Yeah, same here, lad. My ma, I remember waking up on my birthday, lad. It was like one of the best birthdays I've ever had. Because there was 4 of us, lad. So if you got something in our house like that, it was everyone's. And you just got at it when you could. But my ma went out and bought me one of them, a Super Nintendo. She got me Unirally with it. That Unirally was a boss game, by the way.
Yeah.
Proper
I fucking hated that game.
She got me a Street Fighter, and she got me a big fucking, the arcade controllers, like a fucking big one, where you could punch the buttons and shit like that.
Yeah.
I had some fucking boss memories with that. But I get what Liam was saying there, like, when you get a console to yourself when you're a kid, when there's a few of you, like, you fucking cherish it.
Well, I'm a twin, aren't I? So I never truly had a console to myself.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I loved it because I always had someone to play against.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know where it used to get repetitive against the computer? Like, even as we went older, like, me and my 2 brothers would make them a Cully Cup on FIFA, and we'd take it deadly serious. Like, we'd have 32 teams. We'd even get my sister involved. So then we'd divide the 32 teams, and like between 4, we'd all seed them all in like an official draw. Like we'd write them all on paper, we'd scrunch them up and put them in a bowl.
Yeah,
and
I used to do shit like that.
Teams out, and then we'd play the Champions League music before the matches, and and then like it would literally take the whole of Saturday and Sunday. No, because like everyone would obviously have to play each other once.
Yeah.
And then it used to fuck up then towards like the latter stages of the tournament, because I'd be left with all 4 teams and I'd have knocked my brother's teams out. So then I'd have to donate a team to them. So obviously I weren't playing against myself. But then like we'd have a trophy as well. So then you'd get the trophy at the end of the tournament.
Aye, but if you're seeing all that, that takes pure imagination, that like. And I love shit like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I think that's just the essence of gaming, isn't it?
Yeah. But I just mean in general, lad, the way you are with your siblings when you're a kid. Like, some of the stories Luke tells me when he was a kid, lad, we could do a full podcast on them. It was a fucking... I love all shit like that, lad. Because me and our Peter and my 2 sisters, we were just fucking a gang of idiots as well. But we done little stuff like that.
Well... Just tying on with what Liam was talking about then about like playing like footy tournaments when you were a kid. I was only child until I was 10 years old. I was living in my nan's, so I'd have 2 pads and I'd play against myself. I'd fucking I'd beat the other half like 30-0. undefeated, like, so you know what I mean? But
that's the way you've got to think about it. You've never lost.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I think that's that was the charm of the pre-internet age gaming, wasn't it? Because I mean, let's face it, most of the time now you hook up to the internet and you play with your mates that you meet online, don't you? Whereas back then, there was no such thing as online, so you had to play with people around you, didn't you? Like split screen and stuff.
Two sides to that, I think, Luke. Because then it enables you to play with your friends that you know.
Yeah.
But then it also enables you to meet other friends online.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a good thing. I'd never change it.
Them instead.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
You've also you don't get that feeling of everyone being in that room at once, or concentrating playing on that. Like when you were all kids, you all piled into a little box room and you just sat there with a multi-tap playing things like Micro Machines. Or
hey, boys,
go on,
which one of you had the ship pad? That's the question. Which one of you had the ship pad?
All the time. I got left with the Mad Cat shit.
Do you know?
All the time.
Yeah, the little third party fucking ship pad that you buy for a tenner.
Tenner from my phone.
With the fucking analog sticks that stick to fucking one side.
The fucking buttons that are fucking sellotaped on.
Hey,
the triangles
fucking sans-pad and fucking cover.
Well, what we used to do, right, years ago, we'd play FIFA, and whoever lost the match got the ship pad. The winner got the good pad.
Yeah.
Standard rule, man.
Lad, yeah.
Like, if you want to beat the king, you've got to overcome the odds.
I used to do that with you and Jake. I used to do that with you and Jake when I go over. Yeah. To be honest, I've still got one of your shit pads in here.
Yeah, I gave you it, didn't I?
Everyone had a pad to give them a fucking lucky shock as well, lad.
Right, do you know what, my PlayStation 4? I've got the camouflage pad.
Yeah, me too.
And you'd be surprised the amount of times that I still fucking lose it, even though my room's not camouflaged. like how many times have I lost my pad?
Oh, fucking loads, mate.
The answer is loads.
But if you look, just sticking on the subject of PS4 pads, I know it's not past gaming, but just to quickly mention, I haven't been impressed. I think the quality of the new controllers has been shit this generation.
I think it varies though, like it depends. Pads used to all be the same, when you buy them, unless you bought like a Mad Catz one. But you know yourself, we've had to take a few of these pads apart now.
Yeah.
They're all different, lad. It seems
now,
like.
Do you think that's because you're using them a lot more than you did like when you were a kid?
Well, not really,
Obviously,
no. Because when you're a kid, you fucking mistreat things, don't you? You drop pads more. You fucking you don't look after them as much. Whereas I look after my stuff.
Let you play for 12 hours straight when you were a kid.
Oh, like
now you're a man, you can do what you want.
No, I know what you mean, but like the first time I played Sonic, I played it for like 2 days straight, nearly, right? But obviously, I was dreaming of Sonic. I was crying. I had to wake my mum and dad up, and they had to see me. All I could see was all I could see is Sonic.
I can imagine your ma cradling you in bed going. Lad, do you know what? Go on, lad. All I'm just going to say dead quick, and our Peter will vouch for this. We used to go to my nan's over the weekend, And my nan, we'd go sleep on like a little camp bed at the end, because my nan only had a 2-bedroom house. So the girls would go in the back room and we'd go at the end of her bed and like a little camp bed or something. And we'd sit there of a night, and my nan would clock Sonic the Hedgehog too. Every night before she goes to bed,
She literally wouldn't go to sleep.
Before that, it was Super Mario Brothers, And fucking, I'm telling you, my nan was better at fucking Sonic and that than I was. She just whizzed through the level, and get all the coins like it was nothing.
Oh, that's crazy, isn't it?
I've got a little funny story about a pad. Right.
Yeah, go on.
And it's not like
the Japanese. Up my ass, right?
Actually, it was an original Xbox, the proper Duke pads, which they had.
Yeah.
Well, he was playing his little brother on it, and his little brother twatted him everywhere on it, and he got that pissed off, he threw the pad, and I was expecting him to just throw it at the wall or something. No, kid sat right next to him, throws it, hits him square in the fucking nose.
Nah,
his nose wide open.
Them hard Xbox pads weighed a fucking ton.
I just looked at him and went, why the fuck have you thrown a pad like that at your brother's face? I know me and I fucking argue like anything when we're playing on the game, but you don't fucking throw a pad at your brother's face.
Oh, fuck
Especially
off.
one
I
of
remember
those
you doing
bastards.
loads to me when we were kids. Like that.
Lad, you end up breaking my nose over a fucking toy. Shut your face.
Yeah, that's because I'm harder than you.
Right, so lads, what I'm going to ask you now, just to summarise, I'm going to ask you to choose what was your favourite past console and what was your you could only choose one, and you can only choose one game as well. What was your favourite past game?
Now, has the game got to be in relation to the console? Because I've got a favourite console, but a different platform for game.
That's completely fine. You can do that. You can mix and match.
Thanks.
But I'm going to start with Lewis. Lewis?
Oh, lad, out of all the people to pick, you picked me. Favourite game? I'd probably say my favourite game and favourite console would be PlayStation 2. And it'll be Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Hey, that's a solid choice, mate. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move on to Peter. Peter, what was yours, mate?
Mine was the original PlayStation.
Yeah.
And SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. Purely because of the fact of that game, I made so much fucking money off in school, flogging it off for a $5, because everyone had a chip PlayStation. It was like, yep, alright, I've got the master copy, you can have it.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, Yanni, what's yours, mate?
Right, I'm not saying the PlayStation, mine's the Super Nintendo. And my favourite game, and it gets overlooked a lot, but everyone loves them. Super Bomberman, lad.
Nice. Okay, Liam, what was yours, mate?
Favourite console, Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Favourite games, I've got two that are tied. Vice City, that's OG shit.
Yeah.
And WWF Attitude.
Nice.
Oh, that's sick, man.
You fucking goth.
Remember WWF Warzone on the PS1?
Oh, mate, Warzone was fucking OG,
do you know what?
mate.
WCW used to have some fucking good wrestling games as well back in the day.
Yeah, they did, yeah, Thunder.
Yeah, because you could hit them with steel chairs, mate. Like, they were the first ones to use weapons then.
Yeah.
WCW NWO Revenge on the N64 was one of the best games ever made. Because THQ made it, and then when...
Hey, Peter, isn't wrestling next week, bro?
Yeah, so when I think about what was my favourite game from the past, the favourite console, it's because, I mean, I've been a gamer for my whole life, it seems, and I've played so many games. I think I had every single PS1 game because they were all fucking chipped.
Played so many games with my art.
Oh, baby. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I don't know what to pick, but I think for game, just because it had such an impact on me from a young age, I'm going to say Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut.
Good choice, lad.
Yeah, it was just an absolute amazing game. I was only a kid.
That on the PS1, lad?
It was on the PS1, yeah.
I never played that because it was a shit house.
Do you know what, right? I must have been about 9 when I played it, and I used to hide behind the couch when the dogs used to dive out the windows and shit.
You were having nightmares about Sonic, it sounds like. Imagine you're after that.
Do you know what, right? It was like a love-hate thing with Resident Evil because I hated the scary bits, but I fucking loved the gameplay and the story and stuff, so that was one of them games. I think that was the game that took me to the next level of being a gamer, if that makes sense.
I would argue that it was Metal Gear Solid.
That's what I was about to say then. I was just about to say that then, lad. I thought you were going to say MGS.
Do you know what? With Metal Gear Solid, it's my favorite. Well, it's arguably one of my favorite game series, and as you know, that's why you assumed I was going to say that. But as I said, with Resident Evil, purely for the fact that it took me to that another level of interest with gaming, and that's why I've got to stick with that, man. But as for consoles, do you know what? It's going to be a tough one because a lot of games with a lot of good consoles, a lot of good memories. But I'm going to stick with Sony, and I'm going to go with the PS2, just because I think the PS2 just hit that next level, didn't it? In terms of like
PS2 raised the bar massively, didn't it?
It did. I mean, it was the first console games such as Grand Theft Auto 3, which was the first open world version of Grand Theft Auto, and it was the pioneer for open world games that we see today.
Mhm.
Plus, it had a host of other, great games on it as well. But yeah, I think that was, I'd say Resident Evil 1 and the PS2.
Like, just going on what you're saying about the PlayStation 2, like, in terms of like jumps between like growth between like PlayStation 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, etc. I don't see like any other console jumping as much as it did from PS1 to PS2.
Exactly, yeah. It did. Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
I honestly think they could have made the same jump from the PS2 to the PS3, but they let the ball slip because they thought, where did daddy here? Fucking Microsoft outshone them with the 360 compared to the PS3, in my opinion. Like,
well, they didn't do themselves any favours. The architecture of the PS3, did they? I mean, they had like this exotic architecture, which was like fucking a nightmare for game developers, to make games for. But anyway, moving on.
The price of the thing weren't any cheap anyway.
Well, because of the manufacturing cost, obviously the consumer cost was going to be higher. But they actually sold the PS3s. I don't know if this was throughout its whole span, but throughout a certain point of its lifespan, they sold the PS3 at a loss.
It's because they had to.
They had to, and they made their money on games. But sorry, lads, we could talk all day about the old games and old consoles. Yeah. But I think we should move on to the present day gaming. Let's discuss the current state of gaming, and also mention some of our current games that we like to play at the moment and stuff.
Definitely, yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So going from the past, moving to the present, a lot's changed, hasn't it? We've got internet's more of a mainstream thing now. Everyone's connected to the net pretty much. Everyone's paying the £40 or $40 a year online subscriptions.
Allegedly.
Everyone's that's it. Everyone's downloading games, fucking instead of
buying FIFA points.
Everyone's spending £500 a year on FIFA. But yeah, I'm just going to sum up today's gaming industry in one word. I'm going to say lazy.
Yeah.
The reason why
100%.
The reason why I choose that word is because back in the day, they had to make games great from the moment you buy it, because there was no such thing as the internet and day one patches and fucking complete sorting the rest of the game out 3 months down the line. But that's how it is today. I'm not saying for all developers and all games.
It's for a large majority, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They'll release games that they know is not fit for release, but they'll release it anyway at a full price. But it's only like 60% of the game, and then you'd be like, "Oh yeah, we'll fix this with future updates." But I think that's what it is. It's gaming is. I think it's the biggest media moneymaker in the world.
Yeah, it is. It is now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is it $1 billion enterprise?
It's bigger than the movie industry now.
And I think that one reason the gaming industry is so lazy now is the introduction of DLCs. So they're not in a rush to make the perfect article now.
Well, that's
because as long as they market it right, then they know they'll smash the initial buys, get people hooked, and then make them pay double or triple throughout the next 2-3 years on like DLCs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what it is though as well?
They are lazy, yeah.
It's a big. Well, if you're gonna put it down in the saying, it's quantity over quality with them, and the biggest thing I can think of that suffers from that is FIFA.
It's me dick.
Yeah, that as well. That's what your wife said. She told us all.
Yeah, FIFA's a really good example, isn't it?
Is the same game every year, and it gradually gets worse. And I think I'm more invested in how bad it is because we buy it every year because it's the game that tied us all together originally.
It's not just that as well. It's just part of it's part of your culture growing up, isn't it? Like every year you buy the new FIFA.
Yeah.
I mean, we've bought the new FIFA, haven't we? Ever since that we were into footy.
Do you know what? I've had every FIFA since 1990. Every FIFA for every year.
Exactly, and that's why EA don't make that much of an effort to improve the game and add more features because they know people are going to fucking buy it anyway.
Yeah.
I
You
know,
know what I mean?
But
yeah, I mean, FIFA and EA is just one of many examples of how the gaming industry today is more focused on greed with money, and I think it's just lazy as well, isn't it?
I have a perfect example of what you're trying to explain there, Luke.
Go on, Peter. Let's hear it.
No Man's Sky.
No, I disagree.
Game come out. No.
Do you know what though? I think
I
No
disagree.
Man's
Game to
Sky.
come out.
I disagree.
Yeah,
I disagree,
I know exactly what you're going to say, Luke, as well. I think.
Well, what I'm going to say is with No Man's Sky, right? They were very passionate about that project, and it was a very small developer team that did it. Yeah, it wasn't the game that everyone expected, but have you seen what that game is like today? It's fucking amazing.
Now,
yeah,
don't
it's
get me wrong.
amazing now.
What I'm talking about is game developers.
No. But I think I don't think that was put down to the game developer though. I think that was just like hitting deadlines and stuff. But there's a lot of game, like Liam was saying before, there's a lot of game developers out there that purposely just like don't include content because they were like, oh, what's the point of giving them all it now when we can give them 60% of it and then sell them the other 40% throughout the year and call it DLC?
I think what No Man's Sky suffered from was pressure because it was, like Luke said, it was a small team doing it. You had a big idea, but really what they needed was the time to get that idea, and they had Sony behind it, was it?
I think so, yeah.
It was an exclusive to the PlayStation, weren't it?
No, it's actually on PC now as well.
Is it on? No, I think it might have started off as an exclusive or something.
It might have been a timed exclusive, but I don't know. But I've played it on PC. Yeah.
But they got pressured into releasing the game before they wanted to because they had deadlines, like Luke said. And I think if they had the time that they wanted, they'd have released the game that they promised.
Yeah, it's like Metal Gear 5 is a situation, but it was that was more to do with funding because you've got like Hideo Kojima is the developer of Metal Gear. In his head, he wanted Metal Gear 5 to be a lot more than what it turned out to be, but the game and the publisher Konami were like, it's costing too much money, it's costing them too much time. They pulled the plug on the funding, so they had to release a game that wasn't finished, and it wasn't to the standards as what the developer wanted, if that makes sense. So there's different reasons for games getting pulled out, getting brought out early and stuff. But with a lot of the big companies like EA and Activision and stuff like that, they tend to publish games with the mindset of, it doesn't matter if it's not finished, or we'll sort that later with a patch, or, we'll keep this bit and sell it on as extra.
Being a mindset of making more money.
Yeah, there's a load of shooting games and that, like that fucking Battlefront or whatever it's called, that Star Wars one.
Oh yeah, with the whole.
Oh yeah, Battle Gear Solid.
That's it. Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, we're living in a time when gaming it's like gambling, isn't it? With like the DLCs and the loot boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why there's a lot of shit going on with it at the minute because people can't decide if it is gambling or it isn't. Because if it is gambling, they need to regulate it like it's gambling.
Yeah, well, if you, I think it's Belgium, isn't it? That have currently they've passed a law now where EA.
So you can't have loot boxes in the games in Belgium, can you? No.
Yeah, and you can't buy EA coins as well. Do you know, for FIFA, the FIFA points.
Have they banned it altogether? I thought he just was regulating it, so you had like a limit.
No, apparently in Belgium now you can't buy FIFA points.
Mate, that's boss, that lad. What would you say like a typical gamer spends on FIFA over 1 year?
Like people like Liam who play it a lot, like tend to spend more money than the average person, I think. Like how much have you spent this year, Liam?
I'd prefer not to disclose that because
remember, his missus does listen to this.
Yeah. Let's move on. I just want to talk about the trends in gaming at the moment. We've got a lot of battle royales. Fucking the past couple of years, we've got the likes of Fortnite, Apex Legends, and I think Battlefield 5. Sorry, I've just recently announced their new battle royale, Firestorm. So I just want everyone's opinion on what do you think about this trend, and when do you think it'll end? Or do you think it's here to stay? I'm going to start with Yanni.
I think it'll be here for a while, but I do think like everything, it dies out after a while, because we were mad big on Fortnite at the beginning, and that had been out for a while before we jumped on it, and then we got bored of that. We jumped on Apex for a bit.
Yeah.
Got bored of that. Jumped on PUBG for a bit. Got bored of that. I just think it's good for the market that there's a few of them, and they are all similar but different as well. But it's aimed at kids, innit? Basically, because it's pick up and play, and it doesn't take. Well, Fortnite now, you've got to be semi-pro to play it for some reason.
Yeah.
You can't just be a casual player on it. But a lot of them are pick up and go just for kids and that.
Yeah, they are. And Fortnite's proved as well that you don't have to sell a game to make money from it. Yeah. I mean, Fortnite's one of the most successful games in terms of, profit and how much they've made over the past year or so.
It's mental, isn't it? How just... Because I said to you out the blue, if you remember, I went, so we should jump on that Fortnite and not have heard a bit about it. And then all of a sudden it just went and fucking blew up massively.
Yeah,
and everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, the marketing behind the game was spot on.
Oh, yeah, it was. But my next question is, free-to-play games are, stepping up a level now with the quality. I mean, Fortnite's pushed that bar to the next level. Apex Legends from EA, they've, joined at that sort of level now as well. So I'm going to ask you, Liam, when it comes to the future of, current gaming, do you think there's going to be a lot more big developers jumping on the bandwagon with the free-to-play game model? Or
most definitely, mate, because as we've kind of touched on, you can give the game away for free, but then with the DLCs and season passes, as soon as the people are hooked and invested in the game, then they are prepared to actually reward the developers by actually giving a bit back to the game, buying stuff, investing in the game. Whereas if you go and spend £60 on a game, then you're not going to have much money left to actually put on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you get the game for free and you're putting a tenner on it every other week, then you could end up putting hundreds on it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good point.
So that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, and then also to play these free-to-play games, you don't need a PlayStation Plus subscription or Xbox Live Pass and stuff.
Yeah, so it's more inclusive, isn't it?
Yeah. But Peter, talking about Xbox Live Passes and PlayStation Plus subscriptions, what are your thoughts about them? Do you think it's worth the £40 a year subscription, or do you think gaming should go back to how it was, where online was free? What do you think?
Right. To be honest, I don't mind the odd one or two bonus sides of paying for the service like that. Like with the Xbox and the PlayStation, where you get your free games. Recently, they've just released. I know you can get it fairly cheap, but you've just got Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered.
Yeah.
You got, I can't remember what game it was, but it was like a fairly new title a couple of months ago too. For nothing.
Yeah, For Honor and Hitman.
Yeah,
I think it was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get them for free. That I agree with.
It is good in that sense, isn't it? The fact that you pay £40 a year and you might end up with 200 or 300 quid's worth of games by the end of the 12-month span.
Yeah.
But on the flip side is there's people that aren't interested in downloading them games. They just want to be able to put their disc of FIFA in and play online with the mates. But they've got to pay 40 quid. So
now, I think that once we move on to the future of gaming, we'll see why that's dated.
Yeah.
But I'll come back to that point when we get to the future.
Yeah. That part I actually agree with paying the money for. What I don't agree is what the Xbox did or is still doing, where you have to pay to use the apps on the console, like Netflix,
You're joking.
Sky TV. No, I'm
really?
I can't remember whether it's a 360 or the one, but you have to pay for a subscription to actually be able to use them. I'm already paying for them, so why do I have to get charged again to use them?
Yeah, that's bad.
I think that's part of the reason why people moved over from Xbox to PlayStation more.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I didn't. Do you know what? I was totally unaware of that. I think that's daylight robbery. To be honest, to charge. I mean, at the end of the day, you're already paying for the subscription. You pay for the console itself. You should be able to access these free services like BBC iPlayer at least. You know what I mean? I mean, like with Netflix, you've got a subscription to pay on that. So why do you have to pay just to access the app? I think that's just Microsoft taking the piss, to be honest. But yeah, Lewis.
Yo.
Little last question for you before we move on is talking. I've just mentioned about apps on the console. A lot of people use the console as a media player these days, don't they? So just to use the internet browser and using Netflix and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
How much percentage of your time would you say you actually spend on watching movies and stuff and then how much percentage do you use it to play games?
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, it's a weird one because majority of the time when I'm online, I'll be watching Sky Go on it because because like when I first moved in the house, like I was going to get Sky put up in the bedroom, and they were asking for like 20 quid a month, but Sky Go's only a fiver. So I'd probably say bulk hit my time by 70% of the time. I'm either on Netflix or Sky Go or or Channel 4 or BBC. Nowadays, like obviously, my missus is about to have a kid, so I haven't been really had the time to go online too much.
Yeah,
I'll only really go on for like 2 or 3 games, then chip, and then I'll go back on like a couple of games afterwards. And 9 times out of 10, that's just FIFA because I'm out of ideas of other games at the moment. But I think like that's allegedly that's the positive thing of Xbox One. I think like Xbox One, they got like the marketing rights for it to be like a media platform, but they just lost.
Yeah, because you can install. I've heard you can install stuff like Kodi and stuff on the Xbox, can't you?
Yeah. Well, like all round for somebody in like my position, an Xbox One probably would be better, but they've lost the emphasis on the games that much that the process of it didn't really change from 360 to PlayStation 1, and that sort of lost a lot of people's attention. I mean, with it, I think people they use apps more, but they don't use that many apps. You know what I mean? Like I'll use Sky Go, Netflix, and Spotify, and that's it. But you know what I mean? Like,
but it just sums up, doesn't it, that this generation of consoles in the present day gaming is it's not just about gaming anymore, is it? It's about being a media center, isn't it? You know, you've got your games, you've got your TV, you've got your music, all in one place.
I was just also going to mention before in relation to Peter's question. You know, when you talk like monthly subscriptions, I think society in general starting to like go off the loop with that sort of thing. Like you look like in boxing at the moment. Like in America, you pay like $60 to $90 for the pay-per-view bout. But
for one event.
Yeah, but like Eddie Hearn's got like with the Zone, it's like $10 a month for like all of them. You know what I mean? I think like sooner or later, the whole sort of the subscription like model will change, and that will change within gaming. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be the foreseeable future that people will be paying for the yearly subscriptions, because as I just mentioned before with Fortnite, people like if you buy a game for 50 quid, like the people are less likely to invest any more money into it, because 50 quid's a lot of money to play for a game.
Exactly,
gamer. But if you get like Fortnite, you're more likely to spend 60 quid or 70 quid without knowing it. And you know,
absolutely, yeah. From my experience, most of the games I put actual money onto have been games that I've downloaded for free. So I totally agree with you, and that's how they do it. That's the model itself. But yeah, right, lads, we're going to move on to the future of gaming, and where we think it's going to end up. Also, a few interesting projects coming along. With you got the new introduction of, I think Google have just introduced a new console.
Stadia.
The Stadia.
It's not a console though, is it?
It's a streaming console, isn't it?
Yeah. But there isn't actually a console involved in it, mate. It's mad.
Yeah. But I think with Google as well, to make extra money, I think what they will do, they will release a machine to stream off, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a cheap machine for like 30 quid. And you'll brand it with like the Google Stadia or whatever it's called. But, I mean, I got my first dab into, into, streaming games with a service. I think it was called OnLive. And this is something I tried out back in like 2010 on the PC. And I remember playing remember that Batman Arkham Asylum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that. Played that from my PC. And it was just all on their end. And it was a new thing at the time. But the thing is, the connection was a bit shit.
That's it. That's what I was saying about it, or I was thinking. Because I know Peter's got a lot of opinions on it, so I don't want to say too much about it. But that Stadia or however you say it, is I don't think there's not going to be anything, whether it's PlayStation or Microsoft, that can compete with how smooth it's going to come from Google with their data centers and how massive they are.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like, you've definitely got the infrastructure there, haven't they, behind them to be able to push out a quality product. Like,
I think it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a big thing for the gaming industry at the minute.
Oh, it is. I think, we've seen little glimpses. I mean, I mentioned that OnLive service. I think that's actually went bust now. I don't think that exists anymore. But then you've also got stuff like, what's that PlayStation subscription thing?
PlayStation Now.
That's it, yeah. And you can stream all the back catalogue of all the old PS3 games and stuff.
Back crackler.
That's it.
Liam downloaded that or subscribed to it for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
What was that like, mate?
Well, do you know what? I just didn't bother using it because obviously the games are dated. So it's good for a nostalgia point of view, but I think that's where they're getting lazy now with remastering games as well.
Yeah.
They're just they're just being lazy and trying to appeal to the older market. But
maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, if you're releasing up-to-date new content on a streaming platform, then that makes sense to invest it, doesn't it? You know, because you're not going to be breaking your console. Like, how many times do you have to replace the fan or worry about the hard drive or your HDMI lead becomes a little bit faulty? So you are just eliminating all of those issues and you are just streaming it, aren't you? So it's much more efficient, and I think it's going to be the end of PC gaming in terms of people buying top-end stuff.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
You can use all that, and then they do the work from their service, that end.
Yeah, they said, didn't they, in the presentation to it, they purposely went out and bought the cheapest PC they could find to run this just to prove that it'll run it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It looked smooth, like it did look smooth from the presentation, but that's a presentation, innit? And they're not going to come out and go, it's actually shit. But bear with us.
But they ain't got my internet.
Yeah, it's true.
That's it. It all depends on people's internet speed to be able to run these games at a suitable frame rate and performance and stuff. But we are at a stage now in society where having an internet speed of 100 meg or whatever it is, it's not unusual.
Yeah, but it's not in terms of us, but if you look on a global scale, like especially places like Australia and that, their internet is renownedly shite.
Yeah.
Like, it's really bad, and that's why they don't really get any, the way places get their own servers and that.
Yeah.
That's why Australia doesn't really get it. Their internet's too bad to run them.
Yeah.
Hey lads, just a quick one. I'm going to have to call quits myself tonight. For people that aren't in the loop, my missus is in early labour, so I'm going to have to keep Dixie on there for tonight. But enjoy the rest of your pod. I'll see you later next week, probably.
Yeah, Lewis.
Right, Ogshaw, sending best wishes to you and the missus, man. I hope you're all okay.
Hopefully see you, baby hug soon.
What people don't know is he's actually sitting in the waiting room in the women's hospital right now.
She's crowning.
I'm telling her to shut up in the background, lad.
Congratulations, lad. All the best, mate, okay?
Nice one, lad. Anyway, I'll leave you to crack on. Enjoy.
What were we talking about then? We were talking about that Google fucking thing.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think I know you mentioned Australia and stuff that haven't got the, the internet speed to be able to run this properly. But there's still going to be a huge market, because if you look at the biggest, the biggest countries for gaming, you've got you've got the United States, and then obviously you've got Europe as well, and don't forget places like Saudi Arabia as well, which have got lower internet, but it's improving.
Yeah, their gaming scene seems to have boomed.
Yeah, it does.
Really fucking loads lately.
Yeah, but what I mean is, I think Australia, as a powerful country as they are, I think it's about the time before they improve their network infrastructure as well. So I think it's something that, in the long term, is going to be the standard of gaming. It's not going to be running it directly from your hardware, but it's just going to be streamed.
Yeah,
and I think Google are the ones to do it as well, because as we said before, they've got the firepower behind them, haven't they, to be able to do it.
They have. They've got everything there, and that's why I was watching it today, and I just thought it's going to change everything, every market in terms of phone hardware and TVs and computers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because the only downfall about them doing that and having all that power behind it is you've got to be running it on the iOS. So there's no chance of you doing it on an iPhone or a Windows phone, unless even a Samsung, which is Android.
Yeah.
But that's Google Play, innit?
But the thing is, unless they have partnerships with them and be able to download an app through their stores.
The smart business people, they're bound to do it. But it's a...
Yeah. I could definitely see it being a big hit, but I've got a question for P.
Yeah.
As Liam was mentioning before, I think it's going to have a bit of an impact, isn't it? In terms of, people aren't going to be willing to spend like £2,000 on a gaming rig to run a game now, when you can just fucking run it on a shit egg PC. So my question to you is, how do you think this will affect the gaming hardware manufacturers for PCs, such as like Intel, Asus, fucking AMD? So, what are your thoughts?
I genuinely think if this becomes a success as what Google wants it to be, this is going to change everything. I think those type of hardware people are going to be looking forward to go into the side of hardware for you to be able to connect, because from what I've read, the way you end up playing this new Google system is if you've got Google Chrome, you can transport that to your TV. All you're doing is playing on a pad. You can play while you're having a crap on your phone.
Yeah, it's incredible technology, really, when you think about it, isn't it? Where you can play your favourite game that's out while you're in the fucking bath, mate. Like,
the best part that looked at it, from my standpoint, was the seamless transition between he went from a laptop or a Chromebook. He went from a Chromebook he went from his Pixel to his Chromebook to his fucking computer to the telly, and it was all seamless. It took no longer than like 5 seconds, and he picked up at the same point in the game.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to, boys?
Go on, lad.
Just being able to play it in work.
Yeah.
Know if I'm on my dinner.
Yeah.
Just take me pad in, just hook up, message use.
That's it.
Just come straight on.
That's it. I think that's another major plus from this streaming service, would be the fact that it's going to be 100% portable, isn't it? All you need is your login details, and away you go. You can play it anywhere. Play it in the office. Play it at a fucking library. Play it on your phone, on a bus. Play it anywhere.
Yeah, personally, I do think gaming's a massive market, and we all know that. But gaming is still got a stigma behind it from people that, like, it's a bit childish and you're a grown fella, you shouldn't be doing this and that. I do think that something like this is going to expand the game market even more than it already is.
Yeah. No, it will,
and
yeah.
it's going to make it more accessible to everyone, rather than people going, well, I don't want to fucking play on that PlayStation and work out all these buttons and that.
And then you got the PC side of it as well, haven't you? Which a lot of people are a little bit intimidated when it comes to PCs. Because they think, oh, what's this? Where do I put this? What do I do with this?
Mate, it's like, if you look at, like, we spoke about Fortnite before. If you look at the likes of that Tfue and fucking Ninja and that, some of the stuff they do is like fucking wizardry, lad. If this was medieval times, I'd be calling them Merlin and shit. Some of the stuff they're doing.
Yeah.
It's nuts, lad.
Yeah.
It's quite an intimidating thing. But, like they say, it's not that hard. But I think it's all skill when it comes to it.
Yeah. But I think with streaming as well, like with this Google Stadia or Stadia, whatever it's called, I do think this is a look into the future when it comes to how, you know, with consoles are concerned. But also, I was saying to P, how do you think it's going to affect the PC gaming industry? But how is it going to affect the console industry, like Sony and Microsoft? What are they going to do?
Well, as you were saying before about the PlayStation Now with Liam, I've actually tried the PlayStation Now. I've tried the PlayStation Now and I've tried the Xbox backwards compatibility. Xbox beats the PlayStation hands down. The PlayStation, the quality is also garbage. The Xbox is just like running the original game.
Yeah, I've heard that it's downscaled, like the resolution's like 720p and shit, and it's like not that good.
Yeah. No, mate, I played Red Dead Redemption on both the Xbox and the Xbox One and the PS4. Xbox One outbeats it. All you can see is, like, you know, when you've got really bad shaders on it's like that when you're playing on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So that's my thing for that note. But the way I think it's gonna entail for consoles, it's been said we've got one more generation of consoles coming, and that's gonna be the last one. I think, as we were saying before about Intel and AMD and all that, I think they're gonna move over to not console side per se, as in building their own consoles. I think they're gonna help with the with the hardware of the consoles to be able to just stream like that Google thing that's coming out. They're going to be able to do stuff like that.
It could, like what you're saying there, Peter, it could get to the point where instead of Sony,
there is no PC master race.
No, instead of like the likes of Sony and Microsoft buying game developers and that, they could be buying businesses like that to help them get more towards that part of the market.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I mean? But I do think
have recently bought Obsidian.
Yeah.
They're a major development company for games, and Microsoft was rumored to be buying Take-Two, but that's been debunked.
Hang on, isn't Take-Two the parent company of Rockstar Games?
Yep.
Fucking hell. So that'll be a big haul, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And it's basically just buying the licenses of games themselves, you know, just so you have to buy the Sony brand to play the certain game.
Yeah.
Unlike what Microsoft did when they bought Minecraft, or Mojang, who owns Minecraft. Microsoft could have been one of them who were like, oh yeah, right, we'll just, if you want to play it, you have to play it on an Xbox console.
But I do think Microsoft's in an interesting transition at the minute with the way they're going, like they're putting out the live services and that on the partner and with Nintendo at the minute as well, with certain stuff, so you can play the old Nintendo game, the old Xbox games on the Nintendo, like the Switch and that.
I'm half debating whether or not to go back onto the Xbox.
I'm not sure. I think it's interesting where we're going with it. But I do think, Luke, you've watched Ready Player One. I do think Google are the people that'll get us to the Oasis, lad.
Well, that's it. That was going to be my next topic. Was going to be VR and how VR is making leaps and bounds lately in terms.
Speaking of Ready Player One, though, sorry, book brilliant, movie shite.
I recently watched it, and it was okay. It was just a decent, entertaining film, but the concept behind it.
Read the book. That's all what I'm saying. The book is a hell of a lot fucking better than the movie.
Yeah, will do.
I like your book snob.
But yeah, I do think VR is definitely going to be a major player, in the future. Because I don't know if anyone's experienced VR before. I mean, I personally haven't when it comes to the Oculus Rift and.
I've had to go on the PlayStation one a few times, and it's good, mate. And you can do you know what it is at the minute? It hasn't got the games or the development behind it to get it to be great. But what they have got at the minute is a good jumping board to get themselves there.
Well, the thing is, what you got to think about as well, especially with the PS VR, is the hardware limitations behind it. Because when you take a VR headset and when you want to power that, it takes a lot of CPU and a lot of GPU power. So, for instance, these more modern style VR headsets that are coming out soon, you need a fucking £1,000 graphics card to be able to run it in a decent manner. You know what I mean?
Mate, so I watched it. Sorry to cut you off. I watched a YouTube video literally about 3 days ago, and it was a fellow who spent a full week in a VR headset.
I seen it myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. And it was interesting. He was saying about it. He said it's brilliant, but nothing beats real life.
Reality. Yeah.
It's. I think we are heading that way, though. It's inevitable.
To be fair, I thought the whole VR stuff would have catched on a lot faster than it has. But I think that the standard of gaming on VR at the moment isn't attractive enough for a wider audience.
Yeah.
The way you tune into the VR and then you're playing table tennis.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not as immersive as you'd think it would be, as in you put on the VR and you're on the Division 2. Do you know what I mean?
But we've also got to consider the cost of a VR headset, the cost to be able to run it properly as well. So a lot of it's down to expense. It's just not accessible for enough people yet to hit the mainstream market. Also, sorry, P. I was just going to mention that quickly.
Sorry.
I also think that we're not there yet when it comes to the hardware. I think we're about 10 years away from being able to introduce a product that we could have as a widespread consumer product that a lot of people will use. But at the moment, it's just for enthusiasts only, really, isn't it?
It is, and they're paying a hell of a lot of money, and they're not getting the best quality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What are you playing?
But at the same time, we need these people as pieneers, don't we? Because if there's no market at all for these sorts of VR headsets, then it's just going to come to a dead end, isn't it?
Mate, all you've got to look at it is look at what we were playing on the PlayStation 1, like Tomb Raider and that. What was that 15 years ago? And look where we are now, like.
I do think it's slowing down a bit, though. I've got to admit. I mean,
yeah, because I think they're pushing the limitations.
Yeah.
Their imagination is moving faster than the hardware that they've got to build what they're thinking of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, actually, Yanni, it's called planned obsolescence. So, I'll just give an example of iPhones, for example, right?
No, I know what you mean.
So, go on then, explain.
Planned obsolescence is when something's designed to fail after a few years and break.
Well, what I would suggest...
So you've got to replace it with newer stuff.
Well, that's true, but what I would suggest is that it's the slow release of technology so they can spread the capital out. Because they've got the technology now to make the iPhone 15. But why release it all? But then why release it all in one model? Let's spread it out over 5 models.
That does make sense, Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
A perfect example of it was what we were talking about before with the pads and that. how they're really cheaply made and they're made to break. So they are obsolete in a way. And I get what you're saying. Yours is like obsolescence from the slow release of technology and that. Where it's like when these car companies like Audi and that come out and they go, here's what car we can make, and they come out with a concept car and they've already made it and it's got fucking everything and it could probably fly if they wanted it to. But they don't do that because that if they give you everything they've got, then you've got nothing to look forward to from them.
Yeah, I do definitely think something along them lines does happen behind the scenes. But at the same time, you've also got to consider, once again, you've got to consider cost. Because you could have the technology to produce what would be an equivalent to like an iPhone fucking 25 or whatever. But the technology in that, to mass produce it now would be too expensive for the normal consumer. You know what I mean?
What I reckon will be good VR-wise?
Yeah.
If you actually took the concept from Ready Player One and made VR movies for you to actually go around and do what the hero or protagonist is meant to do.
Yeah, I actually think, I don't know if I'm 100% correct, but I think there's projects like that already in the works, you know. It's it's a massive market for stuff like that. I mean, look at VR porn. I could see that being
still not going to slip your dick in something.
Oh, baby.
The only thing with VR porn is you don't know if anyone's going to walk in.
But stay fucking bashing one out there.
Someone slips all right up.
It's
what?
like you're deaf and blind, you're tugging it, and your fucking mother-in-law's just walked in the outsource. I've seen many of VR porn videos start off like that, to be honest.
But just to wrap up the future of gaming, just one last subject, and that's going to be, we mentioned before that there's going to be one last gen of physical consoles. Before we move on to the mainstream streaming stuff that is inevitable what it's going to be. So we've got the PS5, haven't we? Which is just on the horizon, apparently. When do you think it's going to come out? I'm going to ask you this one, Peter. When do you think it's going to come out? 2020?
Mm-hmm.
It's landmark year, isn't it?
Yeah.
November.
It's going to be...
It should be just before. Yeah.
That'll be the end of it. That'll be the last one. I think Microsoft will have another 2.
Yeah. One I'm going to ask you here, Liam, right? Because we've got this generation, haven't we? We've got the PlayStation, and then we've got the PlayStation Pro, haven't we? Which came out like a few years after it.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm thinking is, do you think with this new generation, do you think they're going to come out with 2 models from day one, where they're going to have a basic one, and then they're going to have like a ramped up version for the next £100 or something?
Of course, yeah. Just look at mobile phones again, for instance. Like every time you get a phone now, there's 3 versions of it. Because there's a market for every version. You've got your more invested gamer. So we say that would obviously have more disposable income.
Yeah.
That would obviously get the higher end version, but then you don't want to rule out your bread and butter market either. Like your normal everyday income family, you would just want the normal console.
Exactly.
Like, I've never had the higher end console of a version. I've always had the standard run of the mill PlayStation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I can fully appreciate why obviously you'd want to upgrade it as well. Like if you spend that much time on it, then you want to get the most out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so you're not ruling out the market, really.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like 2 or even possibly 3 models of the same console, but like different, like upgrades from launch. You know what I mean? So like,
they'd have to really justify. Do you know if they done 3, they'd have to really justify the use of 3. So you couldn't exclude games from it. So it could only be the actual interior. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think what it'll be, stuff like one will have more memory. Do you know what I'm saying? Like storage. One maybe have a bit more RAM. One might be at like a higher clock rate on its processor.
I think what you're saying about memory is a big thing in consoles that's holding it back. And I think that is why
Yeah.
they're moving on to the streaming.
Well, that's why you get your upgraded version, don't you? But
well, that's it.
If you were to have 3, then if you were going to upgrade your console, why wouldn't you just go straight for the top one? Because you wouldn't want to pay £100 extra and still not have the best version of your model.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think they'll keep it as 2 personally, and then you'll have a high-end one, and then they'll have your standard version.
Yeah, like it'll just be like a PS5 and a PS5 Pro, just available both from launch, I think. But Yanni, quick question. How much more powerful do you think the standard one will be compared to the current PS4 and PS4 Pro that we've got today?
You mean now? I think the hardware that we've got at the minute, you can tell with the games. Some of the games that we are playing at the minute, especially like we've just started the Division 2, every now and again, you fill up your RAM and it turns, it fucks your computer, basically. You can tell when you're playing on the PlayStation and you go into the menu, how slow it is.
Yeah.
After you've played on it, or you'll be playing Fortnite and it sounds like your PlayStation's about to take off and shit.
Yeah.
I think the hardware we've got now for the games it's trying to run isn't enough for it. It's like on the limits of it, so it is going to have to be twice as powerful, maybe fucking 3 times, if they're talking about not making another console. And because I did hear something about them not making another console, but making them so they are customizable, so you can like add modular stuff to it. Yeah, similar to a PC in a way. You can change the stuff on the inside, so you could have the same PC from like fucking 1990 or something, but you've changed everything inside it, so it's essentially a different PC, but the same. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So you're suggesting that the new PS5 could instead of being like 2 versions, it could just be 1 version, but with modular extras that you could add to it?
Yeah,
you know what? That's a good point, Dan. I think I've heard of that one before as well, and it does actually make sense.
Yeah, because I think that is the way that we're going now. Yeah. Essentially, most of us now, we download all our games, and essentially we don't own them. We've only got them for as long as the license lasts on our console, so it's like we're renting games.
Pretty much,
they're owning them until the licenses run out. It's like you've got people who are playing games from like 10 years ago, and then the server gets turned off on them, and the life's over because they've dedicated 10 years of their life to one game.
Yeah.
And it's gone all of a sudden.
That happens a lot, doesn't it? Especially on PC. So, Peter, what I'm going to ask you now is, when you think of console wars, you think of Microsoft versus, you think of Xbox versus PS3, you think of Xbox One versus PS4, so on, so on. This generation, PlayStation have well and truly won this war, haven't they? How do you think both companies are going to fare in the next generation, in the PS5 and the new Xbox?
I think it's going to be even. I think it's going to be at the beginning. I think Sony will have a bit of an edge, then Microsoft will pull it back, like they did with the original Xbox. Because the original Xbox that had the Duke controller, that was actually ahead of its time. That was more like a PS2. But no one knew what it was because of how much the price was, too. Because the price was extortionate, just like
you could play online with that as well,
which we were talking about before,
and that was up against the PlayStation 1. That was, in terms of console and the power of it, it blew the PlayStation out the water, but the accessibility and the marketing and everything behind the PlayStation, because Microsoft was new on the scene, weren't it then? So everyone was like, it's like me going, well, why would I buy a Nike trackie when I could get a Diadora trackie? It's one of them. I wouldn't get a Diadora trackie if you pay me to, but that's just me shit example.
But I think it's...
Is it a Diadora the Explorer? Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly it.
But I think what it's going to come down to is going to be cost and the first year...
Sorry, mate, to cut you off, but I do think it now, if you look at it, even in terms of this generation, Microsoft now is more of an entertainment system, and PlayStation's the gaming system. Microsoft wants to be everything under one console, and Sony seems to just want to be gaming.
Yeah.
So it's weird where it's going to go, lad. If Microsoft stay down that path, and they start making it more about entertainment and more family orientated.
Yeah, it's exciting times, isn't it? Really exciting times ahead for gamers. You know, we're now living in an age where, you know, things that we'd never think would be possible are becoming possible, and I think the future looks bright.
We're all looking forward to it, mate. I just don't think our wallets are.
Yeah. Right, so that's it. That's the past, present, and future of gaming. And, you know, we could talk about this for hours to come, but just before we go, I'm going to pass you on to Yanni now, and he's going to go over some of the socials.
Right, guys, if you want to catch us on Instagram, it's at Weekly Source Podcast. On Twitter, we're at The Weekly Source. Facebook, we're The Weekly Source Podcast. And we're on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and Podbean at the minute, and you can find us all there. All the links to that will be in the descriptions. We're also on YouTube.
So, thanks very much for tuning in to this week's episode, and catch you on the next one. So, it's a goodbye from me, and a goodbye from the lads.
These are good kids. Bye. Well, that's it.
If I don't see you through the week, I'll meet you in the bush.
Meet the bookies.